Hi friends, we are back with day 14 of the Every Bit Counts challenge, and today we are making fermented onions. It's day 14 in the Every Bit Counts challenge, which means we have been putting something back absolutely every day for 2 entire weeks. At the end of the video, stick around and we'll pull out everything we've done so far so you can kind of get an idea of what 2 weeks worth of food preservation, just a little bit at a time, can do for you. Today we're going to be making another fermented food. This is such an easy way to preserve food, and it is such a powerhouse of health benefits. And we've talked in our other videos where we've done sauerkraut and fermented tomatoes and fermented honey, how beneficial this is for your overall health. Fermented onions are a great way to sneak fermented food into your family's food. You can use these. Once we ferment them, they're going to be little fermented delicious onion slices, and you can use them on hamburgers, you can use them in salads or tacos, or really anywhere you would put an onion. Now again, like we said in previous videos, you don't want to heat these up on the stove or in the microwave, because once they get to a certain temperature, you're killing off all of the beneficial bacteria and things that you are building by fermenting, and so it kind of defeats the purpose. But there are a lot of delicious ways, and if you put it on an already warm burger, if you put it on an already warm taco, they can kind of absorb some of that heat without getting too hot, and they are fantastic. So we are going to take some red onions today and get those fermenting. We're going to ferment 2 quarts of onions today, and it takes about 2 red onions to fit in 1 quart. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to chop up these onions into slices, and we're going to fill these quarts. Okay, now that we have the onions chopped up in here, we don't want to put them too far to the top, because remember, as your items ferment, they build up gas and you're gonna have to release it, and you really don't want these bubbling over. Now the brine is super simple. The brine is 2 cups of filtered water and 4 teaspoons of unrefined salt. Those things that are in our tap water to treat it, they can kill some of the bacteria that you're trying to cultivate and develop when you're making your ferments. So you don't want those things in your fermenting water. You want to make sure you're using filtered water. So we're just going to take 4 cups of water, because we're making double batch of brine, and then I'm going to take 8 teaspoons because again, I'm making a double batch of brine. And then I'm just going to stir it in and dissolve it. When we pour this brine in, you want 1.5 inches of headspace. Now, just as a general rule of thumb, 1.5 inches, if you take your tip of your finger to this bendy knuckle, this middle knuckle that you have right here, that is 1.5 inches generally. And so we're going to measure that before we pour the brine in, just to make sure we're in the ballpark, and then pour that brine in. Now I should mention again that since we do not heat the jars up in the canner, you need to make sure that your jars and your tools and your lids and everything are sterilized, not just clean, for this process. Because we don't heat them, it doesn't kill that dangerous bacteria that could be lurking in them. So make sure that you keep a really sterile environment when you are fermenting. The next thing we're going to do, after making sure we have 1.5 inches of headspace, adding our brine, all those things, is we're going to add a fermenting weight. These are Mason Top's fermenting weights. There's several companies that make them. I'll link them in the description, but these are fantastic, and that's where I got these fermenting lids too. You don't have to have a fermenting weight. Like I said in another video, you can even get a big rock that fits inside the jar and sterilize it really well. You can take the peel of the onion and stick it over just along. The purpose of this is to make sure that your material is underneath the liquid. So you want all of the solid material underneath the brine. So we set these right on. And I am going to use, sometimes I use these and sometimes I don't. If it's a ferment I'm shaking up frequently, I don't use these because, well, I don't want things to come shooting out the top. But these are called pickle pipes, and they let gas release. And so it's a lot less maintenance on your ferments when you do this, and a lot less risk of coming into like oozing ferments because the gas is built up. So we're gonna take the pickle pipe and put it right on top and seal it. Pickle pipe on top and seal it. Now, you always want to label your ferments with dates because sometimes you think you're going to know when you started them, but you don't have a clue. So we're going to put the dates. These are onions, and today is the 14th. And normally I would write this on the lid if I had a lid, but because I'm using these pickle pipes, I'm just going to put a sticker with it on there on the side. You can use tape or anything. All right there. Ready to go. Now, these need to ferment for about 2 weeks, and you want to check on them, especially the first few days when there's a lot of activity. You want to check on them once or twice a day and make sure that the pressure is not building up, make sure they're not leaking, make sure all the things are underneath and the canning weight and all those things. Now, at the end of 14 days, they're ready to go. They can go into cool storage. Now, they'll last for several months until you open them. And then once you open them, keep them in the fridge and you can eat on them for a few weeks. And they should be delicious and ready to go and full of those nutrients. All right, I told you if you wait around to the end, I would show you what all we have done in this so far in this preservation challenge. So let's go ahead and let's check that out. As you can see, we've been hard at work and we hope that you've been joining us. If you haven't, we have a video for absolutely everything you see here on our Every Bit Counts Challenge playlist. We did sugar-free applesauce, dehydrated cinnamon apples, apricot jam, fruit leather, coleslaw, the fermented onions we did today, fermented tomato sauce. We've got pressure canned carrots, pressure canned fish, honey fermented garlic. And not only that, but we have our freezer food. We've got these fajita packs with onions and bell peppers. We've got the frozen hash browns that Taylor made, and it is looking great. Our summer pantry stock is off to a running start, and I cannot wait to see what this looks like at the end of the month. If you have been joining us for this whole party, we are so thankful for you. If you're new and this is the first time, we'll go back and watch some of those old videos. Keep joining us for the rest. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell because there will be a food preservation video up every single day in the month of August as we participate in the Every Bit Counts Challenge. Thank y'all so much for joining us. It really means a lot to our little family to have so many sweet people supporting us and cheering for us, and we are so thankful for you. Have a wonderful day.